Urgent Dirty Birds fan, look at what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily videos with the latest Dirty Birds news, and don't forget to turn on notifications. So, you don't miss anything 4 prospects Atlanta Falcons should avoid. In 2025 NFL Draft, the 2024 season didn't go exactly how the Atlanta Falcons planned. The team benched big free agent addition Kirk Cousins in favor of rookie Michael Penix Jr., and now it appears the team has their future signal caller. This offseason, the team was expected to move on from Cousins, but as of now, the veteran remains on the roster as a backup. In free agency, the team mostly added depth pieces on defense, including edge rusher Leonard Floyd and linebacker Divine Diablo. Now, the team enters the 2025 NFL Draft with several needs. The defense still needs work, and with the number 15 pick, most analysts expect the team to add to the unit in the first round. Today, let's identify 4 prospects the team should avoid in the first round. Jalon Walker, LB, Georgia. Jalon Walker has been the most common mock draft selection for the Falcons this offseason, and it's easy to understand why. Walker played his college ball just down the road for the Georgia Bulldogs, and the defender has the athleticism and physical traits that would interest any team. However, the Falcons need immediate contributors on defense, and Walker may not have a perfect natural position in the NFL. Walker has played as an off-ball linebacker and as an edge rusher in his career. However, Walker doesn't have the speed and coverage instincts to be reliable in the middle of the field, and also never flashed elite talent as a pass rusher. A tweener like Walker wouldn't be the best fit for a team like the Falcons. Matthew Golden. WR, Texas Matthew Golden is a fine player. Don't get it twisted. However, the Falcons would still be making a big mistake by taking the receiver in the first round. Golden will likely intrigue the Falcons thanks to his above-average speed, reliable hands, and crisp route running. The Falcons love drafting offensive talent in the first round, but they should avoid the urge to do so again in 2025 with so many needs on defense. Golden could end up being the best receiver in this class. Would that really matter all that much, though, if the Falcons still have a porous defense? Tetairoa McMillan, WR, Arizona. Like Golden, Tetairoa McMillan is a potentially elite talent who is totally deserving of being a first-round pick. However, McMillan wouldn't fit in on the Falcons for a couple reasons. For one, McMillan's pro comparison has often been the Falcons' own Drake London. Both receivers have a big frame, reliable hands, and an ability to make defenders miss. The reason McMillan is listed here is because of the Falcons' propensity for selecting offensive playmakers early. If McMillan falls, the Falcons could easily be tempted to select him, but it wouldn't be the best use of resources. Kenneth Grant, DT, Michigan. Going back to defense, Kenneth Grant would be a player the Falcons could regret taking. The Michigan defensive lineman has a massive frame and is a quality run stuffer. Grant manhandled weaker offensive linemen in college, but there are concerns about his game translating to the NFL. Grant could end up being a one-dimensional player who comes off the field for third downs. While Grant's size is intriguing, the defensive lineman lacks the explosiveness teams want on the interior. Replacing Grady Jarrett will be something the team will want to do, but in a deep defensive line class, the Falcons can wait until later to do so. Pausing this news just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest Dirty Birds news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks. Now let's get back to the news. Von Miller, another star who has more power and name recognition than production. Still, with the current state of Atlanta's pass rush, the aging star is an upgrade. The takeaway if the Falcons sign Miller is that expectations are for him to have 56 sacks as a rotational piece. The dominant force that Miller was early in his career in Denver is long gone. While the Falcons won't find a solution to the team's rushing attack in free agency, this type of move is certainly an improvement. Look at the team's current roster and consider options not only as a starter, but also in case of injuries. Miller gives the team some depth and perhaps a veteran voice that can help guide any young draft picks Atlanta adds to the position. Atlanta Falcons must consider these 3 moves adding to limited draft selections. The Atlanta Falcons find themselves in a unique position heading into the 2025 NFL Draft. Atlanta doesn't have enough picks to address all of their defensive needs and appears stuck with veteran quarterback Kirk Cousins. We will soon find out exactly how serious Terry Fontenot and the Atlanta front office were about retaining the veteran as the primary backup. It is unquestionably better financially, but puts more pressure on Michael Penix Jr. No matter how the situation at quarterback plays out, the team is in need of additional draft picks, and there are a handful of scenarios that could help them add picks next Thursday. Starting with the dream situation of finding a way out of their current mess. 1. Trade Kirk Cousins. The Falcons still having Kirk Cousins on their roster doesn't appear to be from lack of effort. It was always going to be extremely difficult to find a team willing to take on a portion of Kirk's deal. However, there was hope that an extremely thin quarterback market could work in Atlanta's favor. This leaves Atlanta a bit of remaining hope as the team will continue to be active searching for potential trade situations for Cousins. While the veteran has discussed waiting until after the draft, it is hard to believe Cousins wouldn't approve a trade with his quickly shrinking options. If Atlanta were able to make this deal, we are likely talking an additional Day 3 selection. 2. Trade down in the draft's first round. This is obviously dependent on two factors, the first being having a willing trade partner able to pay for the move-up. Secondly, the Falcons must have enough remaining defensive fits that they feel comfortable moving down. Just a week remains until the draft begins, and after the first handful of picks, the selections remain a mystery. Atlanta is going into this year's event with an open approach, actively looking at options to trade down in exchange for additional selections. 3. Trade Tyler Allgeier. How much do the Falcons value one final season of Tyler Allgeier? This is a question we will find the answer to as the draft nears. Yes, it would be great to give Penix the ability of having both Bijan Robinson and Allgeier in his first full season as a starter. On the flip side of this, you have the fact that the Falcons cannot afford to pay Allgeier and have enough left for Drake London and Robinson. You cannot pay your backup back the starter money he has more than earned. With this in mind, moving off Allgeier in exchange for an additional pick has to at least be considered. It wouldn't be an easy move, but with the Falcons clearly not being Super Bowl contenders, it may be the right one. 4 players the Falcons could trade during the 2025 NFL Draft. Falcons may look to move these players during the draft. The Atlanta Falcons must find a way to add draft picks. They only own 5, only 2 of which are in the top 100. That is a problem for a team needing defensive starters and depth. Nevertheless, there is always a way for them to add picks. The conventional way would be trading back in the first or second round, but let's look at the unconventional way, trading away players. Here are 3 players who could recoup some draft capital for the Dirty Birds. 1. Falcons could trade QB Kirk Cousins during the draft, while the hopes of trading Kirk. Cousins have taken a hit. He is still a valuable target for any quarterback-needy team. Perhaps the Giants or Steelers will send a pick the Falcons' way if they don't land the passer they were hoping to in the 2025 NFL Draft. 2. Falcons could trade RB Tyler Allgeier during the draft. No one wants to see Tyler Allgeier leave, but paying the backup with a Bijan Robinson extension on the horizon isn't reasonable. This is why Terry Fontenot may trade the Bruiser before the final year of his contract. Trading Allgeier will garner little more than a later-round pick. However, this draft class is deep at the position, so there is no better time than the present. To replace him, you could easily find a good backup late in Day 3. Watch out for Arthur Smith and the Pittsburgh Steelers. 3. Falcons could trade T.E. Kyle Pitts during the draft. Kyle Pitts is in hot water with the Atlanta Falcons. Ever since his rookie season, he has been a massive disappointment. If the Falcons have no intention of extending him, they should put him on the trade block. Trading Pitts isn't without its risk, assuming you replace him with a rookie. First-year tight ends rarely produce at a starting level. That said, this is a deep tight end class, so much like with Tyler Allgeier, there isn't a better time to replace him. 4. Falcons could trade LB Troy Anderson during the draft. Troy Anderson has been one of the most frustrating Falcons these past few years. We see the talent, but not the reliability. At some point, you have to cut your losses and move on. This isn't to say the Falcons should give up on Anderson. What it is to say is if they don't believe he can play an entire season, they should look to move him. Another season of injuries will make him untradeable. And now, Dirty Birds fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot for Dirty Birds. I'll be back any moment with more Dirty Birds news. ATL, ATL, rise up.